coming to the court cases that involved Ayodhya.
Yeah.
So we know that the first suit ever was filed in 1885, and thereafter these proceedings continued, and 1936 the namaz was stopped at Babri Masjid.
Yes.
So what was happening in the meanwhile?
Well, let's start with that court case. In that court case, the Hindus claimed the site, which was then used by Muslims. I specify this because this was probably not always the case. The first descriptions by European travelers describe Hindus going there, especially on Ram Navami. So you see, when the war activities had passed and the situation renormalized, clearly Hindus managed to retake some kind of control of the site. So apparently they left the mosque building standing, but at least on certain occasions they managed to use it for Rama worship. And so Father Tiefenthaler, for example, in 1767, he, for instance, mentions it was destroyed by either Babar or Aurangzeb. He's one of the sources for Aurangzeb.
Yes.
But, of course, that may be, local tradition. People remembered Aurangzeb, only a few decades earlier, as famously destroying many temples. So they may have simply attributed it to the one they know rather than to some figure from history. So, I mean, it's always questionable how reliable these local traditions are. Anyway, but so he holds it possible that it was by Aurangzeb. Anyway, what he describes is Hindus holding a festival there. But so at any rate, in the British period, clearly Muslims are using it as a mosque, and so Hindus want it back. Now, the first thing to note is that nobody there argues against the temple demolition. You see, neither the British themselves, nor the local Muslims, nor, of course, the Hindus. And so the British judge rules that, yes, this temple was demolished, that's very unfortunate, but since it is already 300 years ago, we're not going to reopen this issue. The consensus clearly is that yes, there was a temple, and yes, it was destroyed to make way for a mosque. So then there was, of course, some local dissatisfaction with that, which leads to riots, and so in 1936 the British have enough of it, and they close the place. They also do repairs. That's important, as we will see later. They use cement, you see, modern material, to repair the roof, whereas the rest of the building is old and dilapidated. You'll see why that is important. Anyway, so the place is closed, and then in 1949, when Islam is badly on the defensive and everybody blames it for the partition and all the concomitant misery, then you see Hindus think the time is ripe to make it into a temple again. So they install the idols of Rama, Sita, and of Lakshmana. So from then on, it functionally becomes a temple, even though the building is still a mosque. Government more or less closes the place for general worship, but a priest can come and do the puja for the idols. For the murtis, I know Hindus are quite particular about this word, idol. So that remains the status quo until 1986. So Hindus go to court in 1950. Muslims follow years later, but just in time for a valid complaint. And so the court case has been going on since 1950. It has closed in 2019, 69 years. But then it is just a court case. And it is only at that level that the thing is being fought out. In 1883, and Ram Janmabhoomi Mukti or something, Andolan, is founded. So a movement for the liberation of the birthplace of Rama. Founded, by the way, not by BJP people, but by two congressmen, Daudayal Khanna, a local legislative assembly member, by former Prime Minister Gulzari Lal Nanda. Because, I mean, nowadays people think that Congress is an anti-Hindu party. It has a long history of Hindu prominent members. And then of Yogi Avaidhyanath, Mahant Avaidhyanath, who was the personal guru of the present Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. He was from the Hindu Mahasabha. So, you see, it's only through the involvement of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, that is part of the same Sangh Parivar as the BJP, that you could say that the BJP was also involved. The Congress party at the time is also working towards the rebuilding of the temple. And so you can see a number of policy decisions of the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in that light. He bans the book of Salman Rushdie, the Satanic Verses. He overrules the Shah Bano verdict about the rights of divorced Muslim women. And so, you see, he gives some sweeteners for the Muslim leadership to keep them quiet, and then to the Hindus he's going to give the temple.